Hello, ECFE families, and welcome to Learning from a Distance. First of all, I want to say thank you to all the families who responded to me this week as I reached out in some text, just checking to see how you're doing and how your family is faring in these very uncertain, little bit crazy times. I heard lots of great feedback about areas that maybe you're finding challenging, some feedback and some silver linings, and some reaches out for, hey, can you give me some more tools and support in this area? One mom said to me a couple of days ago, she said, you know, my daughter is going to be starting kindergarten next year. She's been in preschool all year. I wasn't prepared or trained to be able to pick up preschool lessons and continue them. So how am I going to know if I'm teaching her the things that she needs to know to start kindergarten in the fall? And some of you might be in a similar boat. Before, your child might have gone to preschool, gone to childcare, and that was something you had delegated to someone else to bring those learning experiences home to them. But now everyone is in your house, and you want to be able to encourage them to learn and grow, but you're not quite sure how to start. So today I'm going to give you some tools that hopefully can help you fit in some learning experiences with the time that you have. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get started. All right. First of all, I want to reassure you. Take a deep breath. Lots of parents ask me all of the time, even when we're not in this quarantine status, how am I going to know if my child is ready to go to preschool? How am I going to know if my child is ready to go to kindergarten? I want to tell you that whether your child is prepared for kindergarten or prepared for preschool or not, your preschool teacher and your kindergarten teacher are prepared for your child. When the children come into their class, there's going to be such a wide variety of what they are able to do and what they know. And the genius of preschool teachers and kindergarten teachers is they take this whole conglomerate of kids and they work with them right where they are and they get them to where they need to be by the end of the year. It's their job. They're professional educators. Now, you are parents. And so I'm going to give you some ideas of things you can do to help support and encourage your kids to learn without taking on that extra role of absolutely checking all of the boxes to make sure that they have learned everything they need to do before they go to kindergarten. All right, we're going to just enjoy being a family and enjoy having children as long as we can. So let's get started here with how do young children learn? So we've talked about this in our individual face-to-face classes, but learning during a young child's life takes place just kind of effortlessly. As children interact with their caregivers, with their peers, they explore the environment around them with all their senses and they just play. The human brain was built to learn, and children at this age are strengthening those neural connections every single time they use them. So the experiences and the activities that you provide your child literally build their brain and increase their learning efficiency and capacity. So let's take a look at some specific things that you can provide at home for them. First, try to make sure they have a language-rich environment. Yes, first this is reading stories to them, introducing them to what words look like. It's also just telling them things, what the names are for things around your home. Some of you may remember if you've been into a preschool classroom, sometimes we have labels on things that this is the cabinet, this is the door, this is the sink. You may decide that you want to put some of those up around your kitchen depending on where your child is in their learning, but we just want them to be sure they hear a lot of language, they are involved in a lot of communication and talking, and they see a lot of the written word. Second, try to provide some sensory experiences. And we'll talk a little bit more about what those can look like later, but they need to involve all their senses. Remember, in their learning, the more senses they involve, the better it sticks, the more neural connections that are made in their brains for them. And finally, we just want to provide a lot of hands-on opportunities to explore concepts and to learn about the world around them. So let's look at what some early learning and development goals would be from a teacher's perspective. And I know that my dear friend teacher Jen, she's taught in a pre-K school all year long, and the parents come to her and say, what can we work on at home with our kids? These are some of the advice that she would give them. First, We're looking for fine motor goals. Can your child cut with scissors? Can they hold a pencil? Do they know what to do with coloring and crayons? And then finally, we'll get into some letter and number formation. Some of that comes first with just free drawing, different stick figures and things, but then eventually we will move that into being able to write letters and write numbers. Second, self-regulation is huge. Can they listen attentively and sit still? Not for a super long period of time, but a little bit longer time. We want to train them to be able to do that. Can they regulate emotions? Do they have healthy separation routines? Can they soothe themselves when they're upset? Can we have some level of frustration tolerance that's slowly increasing with their age? 4, their social development. Do they have empathy for other people? Do they know how to take turns? Can they share? Can they help solve problems together when there's a conflict? Their self-confidence as a learner is key to their success, whether it's in preschool or kindergarten. So then we can look at some early academic skills. Can they identify letters, maybe what the letters sound like, especially the ones in their name that we start with? Can they identify numbers? Can they count? Do they understand some basic academic concepts like colors, their shapes, texture, smooth, rough, bumpy, quiet, loud, those sort of opposites that we talk about, textures and opposites that they can, that are measurable for them. And then finally, conventions of print. That means things like we read from left to right, something the way that books are set up, and other things that we learn to read. Those are a little bit more sophisticated concepts, but those would also be built into early learning and development goals as a teacher from their perspective. Activities of daily living and independence. These are awesome for you to work on at home. Can your child put their jacket on, take it off? Can they keep track of their personal belongings? If you ask them, where do your shoes go? Do they know where that is? So those are skills that you can certainly be working on at home. And finally, creativity and imaginary play. Using objects in novel ways. How are their imaginations? How do they like to pretend things and dramatic things? What do they give new life to their stuffed animals like Teacher Jen posted last week. So we want to be able to provide opportunities and even do some modeling if that's what they need in some of those pretend play experiences. So what is the parent's role in all of this? If those are the goals of teachers, how do parents fit in? I kind of picked some pictures here of parents just providing lots of different opportunities for their children to explore and learn. But we'll give you some specific things here that you can try as well. Parents can first organize their child's day. This isn't a strict schedule, but we know that kids do better with routines. They can be able to anticipate what's going to be happen next. So parents can set up some structured tasks. Perhaps at a certain time that you have a meeting to do for work or you need to start dinner, that might be a time that they do some sensory play. Mom or dad sets things out they can play with independently while mom or dad are needed to do something else at that time. Parents can help with transitions between activities. Now it's going to be time to clean up. We're going to clean up the sensory, we're going to clean up the Play-Doh, and we're going to get ready to wash our hands and have dinner. Being able to help your child move through those transitions smoothly will help them once they're able to go back to school. Provide scaffolding and encouragement. Your kids are going to not be able to do everything perfectly. Their towers are going to fall down. Their papers are going to rip. That's normal and all great in the learning process. We want to be able to encourage them like, hey, that was a great try. Why don't we try again? What could we do different? How can we help the tower be taller? How can we shore it up at the bottom so it's a little stronger? Just that, all of those are examples of scaffolding. And prompt some unstructured play with your own imagination and creativity built in there. The types of play that support learning in young children are things that you have in your house. Constructive play, those are blocks, magnet tiles, Legos. They can build forts, they can color, they can do crafts. Constructive is just what can they make. So find things they can make. Just give them tools. Give them scrap things and see what they can make with it. Boxes are a wonderful tool for that. Physical play, running, skipping, playing hide and seek, Simon Says, freeze dance, however they can get their bodies moving. Pretend play, that's like playing with the dress-ups, playing house, playing with the doctor set, playing with action figures. You can even play some modified role playing and charades. My granddaughter, who is just almost 2, she's going to be 2 in just a couple of weeks. For the last week or 2, she is a puppy all of the time. She crawls around my house and makes puppy sounds. But that is a way that she's learning. We talk about what do puppies sound like? How do we treat puppies? As we're playing with her, and she's decided for a little while that she's going to be a puppy. That's normal, and that's great for us seeing how kids learn and using their imaginations. Sensory play, that's playing in the sand table. Water play, it's amazing how kids can just be content for a long time with a bunch of bubbles and water in the sink. Finger painting, Play-Doh, cooking, anything they can kind of get their hands in and explore with their senses. Music play, listening to music, singing, playing instruments, even if those are homemade instruments that you're making at home, allowing them to explore music. Outdoor play. Today's a beautiful sunshiny day. It's a great day for outdoor play. Taking nature walks, going on scavenger hunts like Teacher Kim has posted up. Playing I Spy with things outside as you're going out to play. Picking flowers, skipping rocks. All of those are great ideas for outdoor play. And then of course, story time. Read aloud time, but also just some quiet time with books to be able to flip through them and become familiar with how books look and how the words look on the page. Use this time that we're quarantined at home to build independence in your children. Yes, structuring the day, we talked about that, then children can anticipate what comes next. You might ask them like, oh, we're going to be having lunch in a few minutes. What do we need to do before we have lunch? Oh, we need to put away our toys, and then we're going to go and wash our hands, and then we're going to get in our seat, be ready for lunch, okay? As they're anticipating what comes next, they're able to build that independence in their mind of the areas of those steps that they can participate in. Start small, little things that you're letting them be independent and trying to do. Maybe it's put their jacket on. Maybe it's see if they can get their feet in their shoes. Let your child have options. Choose between 2 or 3 things, whether it's what they want to wear that day for school, what they want to play when they go outside, what they want to have for lunch, whatever those small choices are, let them choose those things. So in times that are a little less frantic of where we need to be in our schedules, hopefully. Let your child help you with whatever it is. I know it takes longer, but those are learning experiences as your child helps you do whatever it is you need to do around the house. Let your child solve problems. Don't just jump in there and try to solve everything and fix it for them. Ask them, what do they think? What might work better? And then help them if they need it, depending on how old they are. Give them a few suggestions of things to try, but always don't just jump in immediately and try and solve all their problems for them. Give your child chores and responsibilities just a little bit at a time. You'll have to train them on that one thing for a little while, and then you can move on to a new thing. But this is a great time to build this independence in your kids while we do have this connected time together at home outside of our normal hustle and bustle, perhaps. So with all of that, I want to remind you that you're not alone out there, that we are here as an ECFE staff. Kim, Tina, myself, and Jen, reach out. We're here for you. We're here to get whatever we can to help you. As we're moving into May next year, we're going to be continuing our ECFE journey. Instead of finishing that week of May 11th, we're going to go on and complete having ECFE through the end of the school year, which is going to be the Friday before Memorial Day. So again, you have all of our contact information on Class Dojo. Let us know how we can help you. We are here to do just that. Take care, stay safe, be well. God bless you.